I'm on a brand new Planet Doug learning curve here, and I thought I'd share some of my experiences and some of the things I've been learning along the way. And this learning curve involves shooting video with a smartphone. And of course, that is something that can be a good thing because, as everyone points out, you always have your smartphone with you. It's a video camera that's in your pocket all the time. And I've never really shot video with smartphones because I find them awkward in many ways. But I dealt with some of the awkwardness by buying this grip that you see here. So it's basically a camera grip. It's made by a company called Ulanzi, and essentially it, does that. It clips onto your smartphone, and then it turns your smartphone into like a camera because it gives you this camera grip. And this unit over here, it's not always perfect, but this is a Bluetooth remote. So you have to press down the shutter button for a few seconds, and hopefully you get a blue light, which means it turns on and connects to the camera. I find there you go, so we got a blue light. So then if I turn on the camera app on my phone, and now if I press this button, it should take a picture. There, so it essentially acts as the shutter button for your camera. So now I put this in my pocket like this, and then I pull it up by the grip, take a picture. So I started doing that because I wanted to take a lot more pictures, so that's what I bought it for. But then I figured out that it could also be very useful for shooting video. So I started shooting a lot of video with my smartphone, but then I ran into a problem. I noticed that the audio wasn't very good, and that's because the microphone is here somewhere. Like on your smartphone, the microphone is here. So if I'm recording audio like this, then my voice is being recorded quite clearly. But then I often turn it around and then face the camera towards me, right? So now I'm recording myself, but the audio drops to zero because the microphone is over here. It's blocked by the grip. So that became a problem. So I'm busy taking video like this, the audio sounds fine, but then I want to turn the phone around and record myself, and now suddenly the audio drops to zero. Plus, I found that every time I turned the camera around, my palm would touch the screen of the phone, and then it would end up doing that. Like the circle button here, the home button, my palm would touch the edge of the phone, and then it would turn off the camera. And I'm busy like this, filming, talking, and I have no idea that the camera app has been turned off, and I'm no longer recording any video because there's nothing there. So I ran into quite a few problems with this. And one way I tried to fix the audio problem was by incorporating a wireless mic. And that's what this video is about. So this video is about my experiments using my Rode Wireless Go wireless mic systems. And I have two of them. A long time ago, I bought the original. This is the original Rode Wireless Go. So you've got one receiver, one microphone transmitter, and that's all you get with that kit. This was the very first one they came out with. And then they came out with the Rode Wireless Go 2, which adds a second microphone, and both of them can be connected to the receiver at the same time. And they also have internal recording. And the receiver has a safety channel for backup recording. So these days, I tend to use this first, and then if during the day the battery runs out, then I switch over to my old one. Or I might have two GoPros running at the same time. I'll put this on my main GoPro because it's the best system by far, and then I'll put this on my second GoPro, things like that. So it's kind of nice having both of them, at one as a backup for the other. And I suppose when I bought my new set, I could have sold the old one, but selling things is such a hassle, and they're not very heavy, so I don't mind carrying them around with me. And I use them all the time. As I said, when the batteries are dead here, I switch to these, or I put them on different cameras, things like that. And with these Rode Wireless Go systems, the receiver has a 3.5 millimeter jack here and a USB-C port, both. So you can use a TRS to TRRS cable, or you can use a USB cable. So that's what I've been experimenting with, and I wanted to share what I've been learning. So the way this works, I put a cold shoe mount on the front here. I super glued this on. So let's start with the big boy, the Rode Wireless Go 2. Got to turn it on, of course. So now it is on, and it has a cold shoe clip there. And I'm doing all this one-handed, so this is going to be a little bit awkward from time to time. There you go. So that slides into place there. So now I have the microphone attached to my Ulanzi grip. And one thing I learned is that, well, the one thing I learned is you can use either one of these, and there are advantages and disadvantages to them. Let's start with the USB-C cable. This is a Rode USB-C cable, and it plugs into the receiver, and then it plugs into the USB-C on your phone. So, plugged it in, and then you get this message that says, open the Rode Central mobile app to handle the Wireless Go 2. If you say, well, before we do that, let's turn on the microphone to connect with it. And we should get a couple of blue lights down there. So the solid blue light is the connection. It's connected to the receiver. And the flashing light tells you it's getting low on battery. That's the battery level. And if we flip this around, you can see the receiver there. And then as I talk into the microphone, you can see the levels going on and up. And right now I'm using the second microphone, number 2, that you can, if I turn on the other one, you'll see 2 separate audio signals, microphone 1, microphone 2. So anyway, basically we're all ready to go here with the receiver connected and plugged in with the USB-C cable, and then the microphone is connected. And the Rode Central mobile app, you control the settings. So up here are the settings for the receiver, and down here are the settings for the transmitter. So I'm not going to go over all of that, but basically these are all the buttons to change the settings on both of them. So, but in order to record audio when you're shooting video on your phone, you don't need this. So in fact, when it says, do you want to launch the app, you can say no. So I started off using the camera app built into Android. So this is the basic camera app on the Samsung phone. So this is the default app. But I ran into a lot of problems with it, mainly because, well, there's a whole bunch of problems, but there's no audio readout. And I find anything to do with a smartphone and audio, you never know whether it works or not. Sometimes it connects, sometimes it doesn't, and there's no way to tell. I can see on the receiver, it's receiving an audio signal. I know the cable is plugged in, so I know it's delivering the audio signal to my phone. That is fine, but inside the phone itself, you have no idea what's going on. That, for me, has always been a big problem with smartphones, with audio. Sometimes it connects, sometimes it doesn't, and you never really know what's going on. So I've often recorded long sequences of video, and then later on I go to use that video and I find out it has no audio. And then I have to go through all the hassle of getting the, the backup audio off the transmitter, and then copying and pasting it into the editing program, syncing it up. And once you do all of that, you sort of destroyed the main advantage of the smartphone, because the phone is supposed to be quick and easy and simple. But now that you're suddenly copying audio, syncing it up, it's just a giant mess. So I did find the default camera app a little bit lacking. So let's get rid of that. And what I've been doing is experimenting with an app called Open Camera. Right there in the top right hand corner it says Open Camera. So that is a third-party app. I think it's very well known, it's really popular, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but it's a very complex, detailed camera app. So all the settings that are missing in the basic app, you'll find them here. So you can do all kinds of interesting things. And so for example, you can lock it to horizontal, because another problem I find with smartphones is that you're often holding it like this or like this. You're just trying to get it out of your pocket, and then the camera gets locked into vertical, but you're trying to shoot landscape. But if you're like this and you hit the record button, it starts off in vertical mode, and then even though you move the phone to horizontal, it's still shooting vertical. And I've run into that problem quite a few times. But with this app, you can lock it into landscape mode, which is what I use 99% of the time. So now it's locked. And if I hit I believe I'm in video mode. If I hit the record button, you'll see that there is an audio readout right there. So I'm speaking into the microphone now, and you can see, now I can see that I have audio. So I have instant confirmation. If there's no white bar going up and down, it tells me the phone didn't connect. So that's the other big advantage to using Open Camera. So that is something else that I learned. And I learned that while you're recording, you can adjust the audio levels. So if I decide that this is too high or too low, I can go to the receiver and I can adjust it using this decibel button here, and I can raise it or lower it, and I don't have to stop recording. Like even mid-recording, when I change the settings on the receiver, it will have an effect. Though I just realized I just made a mistake in what I'm telling you, because this gets a little bit complicated. That is the difference between using a cable and using the USB cord. That's something else I learned. When you plug the USB-C cable from your receiver into your phone, it is delivering an audio signal like line out. It is a line out signal directly from the receiver to the phone, and you have no control over it. So what I should have said there is that when you change the decibel rating on the receiver, it would take an effect normally, but because you're using a USB-C cable, it doesn't change anything. The audio level is always steady. You cannot make any changes to it. So that might be a good or bad thing depending on your needs. For me, it's a good, well, I don't mind it, but the big advantage to using the USB-C cable is that when you play back the video, you can hear it on the speakers, because you have nothing plugged into the microphone headphone jack. Like everything on a smartphone is dual for both input and output. So if you plug a microphone into there, the phone thinks you've also plugged in headphones. So it cuts off the speakers. But in this case, because I'm using the USB-C cable, if I play this video back, I can hear it. So I can confirm that I'm recording audio and I can play back the video. Another advantage to using Open Camera is right here. The screen is locked. And this is a bit of a mixed blessing, because what that means is if I touch the screen, nothing happens. It's locked. So all these buttons, if I accidentally brush the screen, hit it with the palm of my hand or my fingers, it has no effect because the screen is locked. And then to unlock it, you have to swipe. So even to stop recording, I can't stop recording. Oh, I thought I couldn't. But I guess I could stop recording, or did I? I'm not really sure what happened there. But anyway, to unlock the screen, you have to swipe. And now it is unlocked. But now, just to demonstrate what I was talking about, let's go into my File Manager app. And this is the file that we just recorded. And if I play it back, we should hear audio. I thought I couldn't. But I guess I could stop recording, or did I? I'm not really sure what happened there. But anyway, to unlock the screen, now I can play back the video, and I can hear the audio, and I don't have to unplug the USB-C cable. So that is the basic idea using the Rode Wireless Go with a USB-C cable. But you can also use a 3.5 millimeter cable. However, one trick is it has to be TRS. You can see over here there's 2 black lines. That's TRS. That plugs into the Rode. And on this side there's 3 black lines. That's TRRS. Means tip, ring, ring, sleeve. Don't ask me why, but that's what it stands for. Tip, ring, ring, sleeve, TRRS. And that's what you need whenever you're plugging anything into a smartphone. So let's do that. And the difference is, let's, again, one-handed. This is a bit awkward. Unplug this cable. So I plugged the TRS end into the receiver. Here is the TRRS. So it goes into the phone. And then once I plug that in, one thing you'll notice is that the Rode Central app did not come up. So it did not prompt me to open the Rode Central app. But it should still record audio when I'm shooting video. So let's find out. So here we are with the receiver and the transmitter plugged in. Hit the record button, and there you can see that there is a, now I picked up the microphone and I'm speaking into it, so now you can see a very clear audio signal. So that's good. Both cables work, the 3.5 millimeter cable and the USB-C cable, they both work. But the difference for me is that now you can adjust the audio settings. So right now I'm speaking normally, and you can see where the white line is peaking right there, sort of in the middle of the bar. But I think if I go to the receiver and adjust the audio output, you should see a difference. So let's go here. Right now it's set at -21. And now let's set it all the way down to 0 decibels. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but 0 is higher than -21. So now I'm set to 0, and look at that. The audio levels are really, really high, probably too high. So here, when you use this cable, you can actually adjust the audio output. But when you use the USB-C cable, you can't make any adjustments. So let's go back again, I think, because that's way, way too high. And I don't know what the right setting is. I haven't, so there's -21. And let's see what -21, so -21 looks pretty good. You just have to play around with that and dial it in and figure out what the right settings are. So there you have it. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Well, no, there's one more thing. Like I said, the big disadvantage to this system is now if I stop recording, unlock the screen, stop recording, and now let's play back the video. Let's go track it down. There's the newest video I just recorded, and let's play it. We're not hearing anything. There's no audio coming from the phone speakers because you plug the microphone into the headphone jack, and the phone thinks it's a headphone. So if you want to hear the video, now you have to unplug cable. They both work, but the difference for me, see, is that now you can, now I get audio playback, the audio settings. So right, but if I plug this in, the phone thinks it's headphones, and then there's no audio. So when you're using this TRS to TRRS cable throughout the day, shooting video clips, every time you want to play something back and just check that, you know, the video is okay, the audio is okay, then you have to, you have to, I've got a video of me there, you have to unplug it. You have to keep unplugging it, plugging it back in, unplugging it, plugging it back in. And that could be a good or a bad thing depending on your style. So I kind of prefer the USB-C cable because I find the audio levels are dialed in and I don't have to mess around with them. Plus, I don't have to keep unplugging it all the time in order to get audio. So that's everything to do with the Rode Wireless Go 2. Maybe I won't demonstrate everything with the Rode Wireless Go, the original set. I'll just tell you what the difference is. Basically, if I recreated this whole experiment, the main difference that you'd find is that the USB-C cable doesn't work at all. I've tried everything I can think of. I can get no connection using the USB-C cable at all. So if you want to use the original Rode Wireless Go, all you can do is use the TRS to TRRS cable. That's your only option. But with the Rode Wireless Go 2, you can decide which one is best for you, a USB-C to USB-C or the 3.5 millimeter cable. So I think that is it. That's probably not everything I learned, as particularly when I dove into the settings on the Open Camera app. This app is very, very complex, gives you so many more options. Like if you click on the settings, you know, it just goes on and on. There are so many menu systems and settings built into the Open Camera. So I highly recommend using one of those as opposed to the default camera app. But again, you always run into problems because I want to make this Open Camera the default on my phone, but I can't. So like there's the camera button. Every time I press the camera button, it launches the Simple app. Or you can set up your phone where the power button launches the camera app. Like I have it set up, I click this twice, quickly, and it launches the camera app. It always launches the basic one. And I go into the settings to change the default camera app. I want to make Open Camera the default for my phone, but I can't do it. I cannot. I found the settings. It says change your default apps, but camera app is not listed there. I cannot change the default for my camera app. So basically I always have to push that button in order to launch Open Camera. That's the only thing I can do. And I guess one other problem I ran into, which was really disappointing for me, the reason I wanted to use Open Camera was to get audio levels here, and I wanted to be able to lock the screen, because as I said, one of my big problems using a smartphone is that I'm constantly touching the screen by accident because it's so awkward to handle. And this is the entire control area. It's not like using a camera. I mean, you can just grip a camera all over the place, and unless you push on one of the buttons, you're not going to affect anything. But I'm constantly accidentally turning off the camera, changing the settings, because the screen is just so big. So I thought, that's perfect. I can lock the screen, and then when I pick up the phone and I turn it around, I don't accidentally press against it with the palm of my hand and turn it off. But it turns out it's only the screen that's locked. The 3 buttons on the phone are still active. So I found that even now, if I push against it with the palm of my hand, that happens. And I end up turning off the camera, because this this button over here, the home button, is still active. So even though on open camera I start recording, the screen is frozen. Yes, the screen is frozen, but these 3 buttons are not. So you still end up accidentally turning it off. Like I said, the palm of your hand will rest there, and boom, I've turned off the camera again. And I find that super annoying. And I've been looking and looking and looking for a way to freeze everything. Like, I want to freeze the camera app, and I want to freeze these buttons. But I thought maybe I could make this full screen so you don't even see these buttons anymore and they're not there. But so far I haven't been able to find anything like that. Anyway, that was a deep dive into this particular learning curve. And yeah, a little bit rough and ready. This is not a polished video, as you will agree with me. But that's the whole point of these learning curve videos, is just to talk about what I'm learning as I do it in real time. And it's not really a tutorial video. I'm not trying to explain everything perfectly. I just want to take you along with me on my learning curves as I figure these things out. All right, that's it. Using Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones with a smartphone. That is everything I've learned over the last couple of days. I'll see you in the next one.